Good morning, students. Welcome to Abhyas School. Today, discuss about images and types of images. Okay. Yesterday class discuss about problems on deviation. Okay, and this class discuss about images. First one, what is image? What are the types of images? Okay, first one, image, that means in case of it is a plane mirror, that means it is the object, something is person or anything, that is the one of the object. That means how to form an image. That means the number of light rays it is incident on the mirror. They can reflect. You can see the object. That means when the rays of light diverging from a point after reflecting or refraction either actually meet at some other point or appear to meet at some other point, then the point is called image of the object. That means when the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection, that means the number of rays they can re back into the same medium. That means it can form in, that is the actually meet at same point or appear to meet at a same point, some other point, the point is formed in, that can image, it can form in image of the object. Next one, what are the types of images? There are in two types of images. First one, it is the concept of image. First, image and types of images. Image and types of images. First one, when the rays of light diverging from a point after reflecting or refraction, that means the light rays travel into another medium. Example, it can transmit some that type of glass or it is any transparent material. That means the light ray incidence on the material, some part of light is reflected and some part is traveling another side. That is the refraction, this property. That means the light ray travels from one medium to another medium. They can bend at the surface. That means the property of light is called refraction. Reflection means the light rays, they can re back into the same medium. That is known as reflection. Refraction means the number of, that means the light rays travel in one medium to another medium. They can bend at the surface. That is the property is known as refraction. You can discuss about in another class in refraction. But first discussed in what are the types of images or image. First one, types of images. That means it is a two types of images. First one is visual image and real image. Visual image and real image. Okay. See the students. Image. When the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection or refraction either actually meet at some other point or appear to meet at some other point, then that point is called image of the object. That means it is the mirror. That means it is the object it can rays incident on the mirror, they can reflect the rays, they can meet at some other point. In case of it meet at another point, that is known as image of the object. When the rays of light diverging from a point, it is the diverging point after reflection or refraction. That means the rays transmit from one medium to another medium at the surface to meet at a point, some other point, then the point is called image of the object. It is the plane mirror, that means it can form it. That is the image of the object. What are the types of images? There are in two types of images. First one is virtual image and second one is real image. That means how to form in virtual image. Next, how to form in real image. Okay, first one, when the rays of light, first virtual image, when the rays of light diverging a point after reflection or refraction appear to diverge from another point, then the image so formed is called virtual image. That means when the ray of light diverging from a point, that is after reflection or refraction, maybe. That means either reflection or refraction appear to diverge from another point, then the image so formed is known as virtual image. That means it is the example of plane mirror. That means image of our face in a plane mirror, virtual images cannot formed on a screen. That means it can only foresee the object. That means that is the virtual image. They cannot formed in screen. Virtual images are allowed to erect and upright. That means it is a straight line in position. That is the object in same in size. That is the virtual images. It can form in plane mirrors. In case of what is the real images, that means it first form in virtual image. How to form in virtual image? When the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection or refraction appear to diverge from another point, then the image so formed is called virtual images. That means, okay. Next one, see the students, virtual image forming, it is a plane mirror. When the rays of light diverging, that means it is the object, the number of rays incident on the plane mirror, they can reflect the image, to see the object, it is the eye. That means when the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection appear to diverge from another point, that means it can form in, it is the number of rays meet at, that is the virtual image. It can form in virtual image. It cannot see the on screen. It cannot see the on screen. That means this type of image is called virtual image. Virtual image. When the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection appear to diverge from another point, to meet at some point, it can form in at eye, that is the image. This type of image is known as virtual image. This type of image is known as virtual image. Next one, what is the real image? And example, it is a one type of, that means it is a convex mirror. Convex mirror. Example, these rays incident on the mirror they can divert, that means it can reflect at some other point and again to meet at one point. This type of image is known as virtual image, to meet at some other point. That means this type of image is known as, this is a convex mirror. This type of image is known as virtual image, to meet at. That means it is a reflection also. After reflection, the diverge from a point, then the image is show formed is known as virtual image. Okay, and then again next one, real image. Students, next one, real image. When the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection or refraction actually covers at some other point, then the point is known as real image of the object. It is a concave mirror. Okay, it is the object, that means it indicates in A, B object, can form in light rays, incident on the light rays. That means it can form in an incident on the surface. They are in incident rays, they can reflect and meet at one point. Meet at one point. Or meet it is a concave mirror. When the rays of light diverging, that means it is the first one incident rays, they are in reflected rays. That means it is a diverging points. A point after reflection actually covers that some point, to meet at some point. This point is known as, it can form in real image of the object. Okay, that means motion and still pictures projected on the screen in cinema. That means it is a real images. It can form in real images in concave mirror. Concave mirror. That means it form in real images when the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection or refraction actually covers at some other point, then the point is known as the real image of the object. That means real images are always inverted. Real images are always inverted. Real images and the path of the rays which from there shown by the continuous lines, not in dotted lines. It is a continuous lines, dotted lines to form a visual image. That means images formed on in a cinema screen. This is the real images. Okay, first one, what is the image and what are the types of images? Real image and virtual image. Next one, what is the objects? It is a real object. What are the types of objects? It is also same as two types of objects, a real object and virtual object. First, real object, a collection of points which actually serves as a source of light rays in an optical system is known as a real object. Example, it is a real means it is the mirror formation. It is the mirror. It is the real object. The number of light rays passing through the objects. It is the generally forming a real object. It is the real object. it meet at some other points that can diverge. These lines are diverge meet at another point. These rays coincide at one point. It is the virtual object. It is the real object. It is the virtual object. That means it is a collection of points which actually serves as a source of light. Rays in optical system is known as a real object. That means a plane mirrors as the only type of mirror for which the real objects always produce on real images. That means it is image that is virtual image, that is same in size and same size as the object. In case of virtual object, if the light rays coming from the virtual object converge, that means at a point behind the plane mirror of the reflected rays, it can form in, it is a virtual object. It can converge from a point of mirror, that is the real image formation. That is, in case of first one, what is the real? That means it is actually serves as a light of rays incident on the plane mirror. They can meet, they are in reflected rays. It can form in the number of rays coincide at one point. It is the virtual object. That means if the light rays coming from the virtual object converge at a point behind the mirror, behind the plane mirror, that is the reflected rays converge in front of the image, that is form in real image formation. That is the virtual object. Okay, next one, characteristics of an image formed by a plane mirror. That means it can form in image, it is the virtual image and the same size of the object. That means the image formed behind the mirror and has same size of the object. Next one, it is a laterally inverted. Next one, the image of far behind the mirror as the object in front of it. Next, the image is virtual, it cannot be received on a screen. Next, the image is erect. Image formed by the plane mirror for a real object is always virtual and erect. Okay, that means when a plane mirror is rotated through a certain angle, the reflected rays turns through the twice of an angle. That means it can explain characteristics of an image formed by a plane mirror. First point, image formed by a plane mirror for a real object is always virtual and erect. That means it is a plane mirror, the object, that is a real object, that means it is directly, you can see the face, that is the real object. It is a virtual to conform in virtual image, to see the face, your mirror, that can form in, it is a this type of image is called virtual image and erect also. That means for a virtual object, images formed by a plane mirror is always real. That means it is in case of an infinity distance, that is the mirror is image formed in, it is a real image. Next one, the distance image from a plane mirror is always equal to the distance object from the mirror. That means the distance. Example, it is a plane mirror behind the person. That means the distance between the plane mirror and object, and then plane mirror, the distance between mirror and image, it is equivalent to the distance. That is, the distance image from a plane mirror is always equal to the distance of object. Example, it is the mirror it can form it is the object, that means it is the real object, it can form in virtual image, the distance between plane mirror is x. In case of mirror and image distance also equal, that means it is the same distance. The distance image from a plane mirror is always equal to distance of the object from the mirror. That means it is the distance between object and mirror is equal to mirror and image equal to. Images are equal, both are equal. Next one, the size of the image is always equal size of the object. You can see the any type of objects before the mirror, it can same size of the object it can form in image. That means it is equivalent size of the object. What is the ratio of the object and ratio of the image? That is equivalent to 1. That means the size of the object by the image of the object, the size of image of the object by the size of real object, that is the ratio is equal to 1. That means the size of the image is always size of the object, that is the ratio is called magnification. That means it is equivalent to plane mirror equivalent to 1. Magnification is equivalent to 1. That means the size of the image is equal to the size of the object. Both are same. Next, when a plane mirror is rotated through a certain distance, through a certain angle, the reflected ray turns twice of the angle. That means it can form a example. It is a original mirror. Is the size of, that means it rotated certain angle theta. It is a real object. It is through a certain angle the reflected ray turns. That means it is incident. It is reflected rays. That means it will be theta. It will be theta. Then 2 theta is the. That means the incident ray. The incident ray. It is incident ray. It is the reflected ray. That means the angle plane mirror is rotated through a certain angle, that theta is equivalent to, that is 2 theta formation, that is turns twice of the angle, that is the reflected ray is twice rotated in opposite sense to the reflected ray turns to the twice of the angle. Okay. Next one, if a mirror is kept fixed and incident ray is rotated, then reflected ray is rotated in opposite in same angle. That means that does not rotate the mirror only for if a mirror is kept fixed point. The incident ray is rotated, then the reflected ray will rotate in opposite sense by the same angle. That is, these are the characteristics. And again last one, that means in case of what are the number of images, how to form a number of images. Next point, a person height h can see the full image in a mirror. The minimum length of the mirror is half of, that means L is equal to h by 2. In case of a person, example 1.6 meters length height of the person, to see the full image, that means length of the mirror is 1.6 by 2, that means 0.8 meters. That means 80 centimeters. 80 centimeters. That means a person height can see the full image in a mirror of minimum length of the mirror is L is equal to h by 2. That means half of the person. Example 1.6 meters height of the person. You can see the full image. You can see the full image. What is the height of the mirror? That means 80 centimeters height of length of the mirror. Okay, next one. In case of a person standing at a center of room, looking towards a plane mirror hanging on a wall, can see the whole object if the length of the mirror is equal to the one third height of the wall. One third height of the wall. That means it can see the person. Example, 1.6 meters height of the person. Stand in a center of the room. That means you can see the full image. What is the length of the mirror? That means if the length of the mirror is equal to 1.6 by 3, nearly 0.53 meters, nearly 53 centimeters height of the mirror. You can see the full object at the person at the center of the room. Stand on a center of the room, that means that you can see the full image, that is nearly 53 centimeters length of the mirror need. Okay, next one. If the two plane mirrors incline to each other at an angle theta, that means you can see it is a two mirrors. It is one type of a book type. It is the one type of mirror. It is also one type of mirror. It is the angle between these. That means it can theta. If theta is, that means if the two plane mirrors incline to each other at the angle theta, what are the number of images? How many images formed? That means if theta is, then 360 by theta is even, the number of images is m minus 1. Here also 360 by theta says some m. That means the number of images is m minus 1. Example, in case of theta 90 degrees, that means they are in perpendicular to each other. How many images form? That means 360 by 90. That means 91s are 94. If theta is even, that means it is a 4. How many images formed? That means 3 images formed. In case of, that means if 360 by theta is odd, 360 by theta is odd. Example, it is nearly 45. How many images form? 360 divided by 45. Nearly 8 times. 8 5s are 6. 8 5s are 40. 8 4s are 32 plus 4 36. That means 0. It is also same as even. The number of images are, it can form in 7 images. It can form in 7 images. That means it can form in 5. That means theta. 5 into theta is equal to 360. That means theta is equal to 360 by 5. 5 6 5 7s are 35. 5 2s are. In case of theta is 72 degrees, 360 by theta is 5. That means it is odd. The number of images is formed in 5. In case of fractional form, that means 360 by theta is 4.3. 4.3. It can rounding off number. The number of images formed in 4 only. Okay, that is okay. That means if the two plane mirrors incline to each other at an angle theta, how to form in number of images? 360 by theta is even. The number of images is m minus 1. In case of 360 by theta is odd, the number of images in m only. Okay. In case of 360 by theta is in a fractional form, it is rounding off number. That means example 4.3. It is less than 5. It can form in number of images of 4 only. Okay. Okay, students.